What up YouTube, it's Missouri's Company. In today's video, if you saw yesterday's video, we covered the new patch notes. In today's video, we're looking at the 42 brand new legendary items that are coming to the game. And before we get started, I have a very important question, which is, have you guys tried a Mountain Dew Voltage? This is not sponsored, by the way. This is totally not sponsored, but if Mountain Dew wants to sponsor me, hey yo, check me out. I haven't had Voltage in a long time, and I tried it today, and it was actually really good. I usually just do like the regular Mountain Dew or Code Red, but Voltage is pretty fire. Let me know what your favorite Mountain Dew flavor is in the comments below. Again, not sponsored, just drinking it while I record videos. So there's that. Now let's get to the actual video. So 42 brand new, my nose is leaking. 42 new legendary items. First, we'll look at the Barbarian. So the offhand Wrath of Berserker now enrages you when nearby enemies are bleeding, increasing damage by 6%. Okay, that'll be interesting if it stacks or if it's just a flat percent. And is it all enemies that have to be bleeding or a certain amount? It sounds okay. There's a lot of legendary essences for the Barbarian that do this whole bleeding thing. So I don't know. That could be good. We'll see. Hearth Hook, chest. Chain Spear now throws a piercing spear that deals damage over time and causes enemies to bleed. Oh, look at that. We can just make them bleed with this, which can stack. Oh, spears can be thrown up to 2 times. Bop, bop, bleed. Okay, so for the helm, demoralize boosts your movement speed, causing damage to surrounding enemies and making you immune to control effects and hit effects. Wow. That could be good for the farm build. I'm trying to think about the farm build. I feel like that would be a W. What is currently there for the helm? I think it's sprint, so maybe not. Anyway, main hand, demoralize now also detonates the wounds of nearby enemies, immediately resolving any continual damage effects. Okay, so this is similar to like the Crusader build where you can put a bunch of dots on someone and then with Condemn make it explode. I might be on the Crusader, which is why that's top of mind. Pants, Chain Spear charges increase by 1. Pretty basic. Shoulders, when Whirlwind hits the same target 3 times, it tears it apart. Wow, causing 554 damage per second for up to 1.5 seconds. For to 1.5 seconds. We're gonna go ahead and just say for 1.5 seconds. All right, Blood Knight. Blood compression pants. While Abomination is active, your primary attacks cause enemies to bleed, dealing 491 damage per second for 3 seconds. This could literally just be called the bleed patch at this point. Offhand, Ravage also deals additional 435 damage to bleeding enemies. Okay. So yeah, they're trying to buff the stuff that no one's using, which kind of makes sense. I mean, that's probably the goal. You don't want to nerf different builds. You just want to bring other builds up to par. I like that they're doing that. Main hand. Whirling Strike is now activated up to 3 times, each strike causing enemies to bleed. Wow. With a knock, this is a main hand. Okay, so this will remove the fire main hand, while the strike knocking enemies into the air. Okay, that's really good for PvP especially. Wow. Helm. Whirling Strike also increases your damage by 10% for 3 seconds. Helm. Okay, I mean, I could see where that would be good. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a pretty bursty PvP build right now. But the head is that's a finicky one because that's the one where you get not sanguinate, but what's the one that like does damage on the ground? I don't know. Could be worth it. Shoulders. Swarm of bats now passively sends bats to attack bleeding enemies and can be activated to deal damage to nearby bleeding enemies, causing the bats to return and heal you. Whoa. All right, this feels really good. And I know it removes some of the other bat stuff already, but like that's still pretty good. And so chest piece, Swarm of Bats also destroys enemy armor, increasing damage dealt by 10% for 3 seconds. Wow. This bleed build for the Blood Knight, I just realized it's a bleed build on the Blood Knight. Anyway, but seems really good. Maybe, I mean, definitely for PvP, it could be good. But I wonder if it would be good for PvE, like raid bosses, like single targets. We'll have to test that. Crusader, which is what I'm on currently. Helm, consecration now calls intense holy flame that deals damage to yourself and nearby enemies. Why? Okay, so if this doesn't end with us doing something when we get damage done to us, this is dumb. But if not, okay, whatever. Offhand. So that's the head. Offhand. Shield glare now surrounds you in protective light that damages and blinds nearby enemies when attacked. So does that, if I'm getting attacked by myself, will that do this? Questions. Shield charge now causes you to leap to a target location, gathering and damaging nearby enemies. Wow, that sounds good for PvP. Conjuration of Light's cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each attack received while active. Okay, triggering up to 4 times. So again, does the shoulder stack with this head? If not, that's dumb. Chest. Conjuration of Light now grants you an absorb shield. Okay. Main hand. Receiving damage from an enemy will cause your next sacred fire to detonate on hit, dealing 489 additional damage to nearby enemies. So from an enemy though. So this one definitely does not trigger with this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't love these new legendaries for the Crusader. I'm on the Crusader right now, and I like the builds that I'm using, and I don't feel like any of these will actually be all that awesome. Minus this. This is cool. I like that. For PvP. But yeah, I don't know. It's different. The helm just confuses me, and then the fact they call it out specifically on the main hand, that it has to be from an enemy, makes it think that you would be able to use it on this. Each attack received while active, and then when attacked. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't love it. Demon Hunter, boar at the door. Helm, Sentry, God, Sentry, man, they just want the Sentry to be good. That's all they want. They're like, please, guys, use the Sentry. Sentry now summons a Shadow Arrow Tower at the point you designate to attack nearby enemies. What? Strafe summons a shadow to attack nearby enemies. This can be used up to 2 times. Interesting. Activating Vengeance also creates a field for 5 seconds, allowing you and friendly summons to fire up to 1 additional bolt every 0.5 seconds, which causes 276 additional damage. All right. Main hand. Smokescreen now creates a fog, making you instantly invisible. Okay. Freeing you from current crowd control effects, while also making you immune to knockbacks. That's really good. And I feel like a main hand is a decent spot to put that for the Demon Hunter builds. Shoulders. When Knife Trap is triggered near a sentry, okay, that sentry gains 30% increase attack speed for 3 seconds. Okay. Just remove it. Just remove Night Trap and Sentry. Nobody, I've seen like one farm person use it as a Demon Hunter, and that's it. Everyone else uses the same build that they've been using for the last how many new legendaries that the Demon Hunter's gotten, which isn't bad. The Demon Hunter is still good. I'm not trashing the Demon Hunter, but like they keep trying to make this work, and instead I'd rather them just maybe give up on that and try to make different builds for other skills, because at this point Knife Trap and Sentry are just, yeah, whatever. So Vengeance summons your inner demon to continually attack your target, but no longer passively increases your movement speed. I mean, that's fine. Interesting. Okay. I like most of these for the Demon Hunter, basically all of them that aren't Knife Trap or Sentry related. So there's that. Monk, who I will be going on whenever I'm done with the Crusader, which will obviously be after this update. So Wave of Light now protects you and surrounding allies with a large golden bell. Receiving damage while active creates a wave of damage to surrounding enemies. Interesting. Falcon's Dive, chest piece. Wave of Light's range is increased by 20%. Okay. Offhand, Mystic Strike charges increased by 1. Pants, Mystic Strike now throws soul energy, dealing damage when it hits an enemy and summoning a phantom to continuously attack the enemy. Helm, Inner Sanctuary now increases movement speed and primary attack speed for the player and their summons. That's a good one. That's really good for like the fire summons build. Oh yeah, that's really good. Main hand, although I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know what it would replace in terms of the headpiece. Mystic Ally summons 2 spiritual enemies that utilize Soulfire and Wind to attack the enemy. Does that mean they make their own Firestorm? Excuse me. Necromancer. Corrosive Slab, offhand. Command Golem applies a vulnerability effect to surrounding enemies, increasing the damage they receive by 8%. Festering Wounds, Shoulders. Skeletal Mage's damage increased by 10% up to 40% for each different damage effect active on the enemy. Okay. Frigid Response, Chest. Bone Armor applies as a cloak of frost to you and your summons, damaging and chilling nearby enemies. Okay, I like that. Helm, Command Skeleton summons Rotten Zombies. What? Damaging and slowing nearby enemies. That sounds really cool. I can't wait to see what they look like. Pants, when active, Bone Armor also increases your critical hit rate by 20%. Wow, okay. Main hand, Bone Spear destroys enemy armor, increasing critical damage dealt within 3 seconds for 35% by 35%. So these pants and main hand, man, holy damage for the Necro. That's kind of crazy. I like that. I like that a lot for the Necro. That sounds fun. All right, last but not least, the Wizard. The Wizard has been nerfed 3 times. 3 times recently. That's 1, 2, 3. Let's see what would they get. I'm actually looking forward to going back to the Wizard at some point because it's been a long time. Aftershock. Chest. Lightning Nova now releases a shockwave in the surrounding area. Enemies hit will continue to be damaged and briefly stunned. Meh. Alright, Shoulders. Disintegrate releases a sphere of energy that attacks enemies in range and dissolves their armor. Percentages? Amounts? Just armor. Okay. Helm. Slow time now increases your attack speed, movement speed, and the rate at which your skill area effects and continual damage resolve. Interesting. That could be good. Offhand. Lightning Nova's cooldown is reduced by 50%. Okay. Pants. Disintegrate cooldown is reduced by 1 second each time it hits a target, up to a maximum of 3 seconds. What was the other Disintegrate one? Releases Sphere. Okay. Main hand. Magic Missile triggers an explosion for every 3 magic missiles that hit an enemy, which causes 1,099 damage to the area. Interesting. Okay. So nothing super insane. I think some of them are definitely better than others. Honestly, I think the biggest L is the Crusader. And I say that only because I'm on the Crusader and I don't feel like many of these will benefit any of the builds that I'm using, but I also don't claim to be the best Crusader. So there are many, many awesome Crusaders out there. So if any of you guys feel like I'm wrong, please let me know which of these essences I should be looking for, because I will be on the Crusader when these new essences come out. Until next time, guys, lock it in.